Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Derek Coffey, and I'm the founder of FWP. And I think the most important question when it comes to retiring at 55 is just how much money do you need? Is it $1 million? Is it 2 million? Is it 3, 5? What is that magic number? Well, the problem with this question is there's no magic answer. It's all situation dependent. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to go through the steps of figuring out what your retiring at 55 number is going to be. Yes, it does require some math, but if you have these numbers nailed down, it allows you to quit your job and ride off into retirement with confidence. Stay tuned. So the main reason why we can't just give a blanket figure to everyone is because it's so situation specific. Your individual circumstance is going to determine how much money you need to have saved to retire at 55. If you live in a higher cost of living area, your retirement number is going to look vastly different than someone that lives in a much cheaper area. When it comes to figuring out this number, there are three components we have to take into consideration. The first of which is how much money do you need each month to live? What is it going to take you to just keep the lights on? The second component to that is how much money do you need to have so you can enjoy all of this free time? There's no point in putting yourself through the stresses of retiring at 55 to just sit at the house and do nothing. You need to make sure that you have some level of fun money budgeted in. And then the third and final component is we need to know when you're going to pass away. Now, unfortunately, we don't know with precision just when you're going to pass away. We may have an idea based on family histories, but we don't know that figure for sure. So what we're going to do with those three components is we're going to put them all together and figure out just what your retirement number is going to be. When it comes to your needs-based spending, you have to budget out what it's going to cost you to live. If you have a home, even if it's paid off, there are still expenses to owning that home. You have your upkeep, your taxes, and your insurances. You have to budget for all of those things. That way your home is protected and the government doesn't come and take it from you because you didn't pay your taxes. The same can be said about your vehicles and then also the gas that's going to go in those vehicles. That way you can get where you need to go. The next thing we need to think about are your insurances. So your homeowner's insurance, your auto insurance, and then most importantly, your health insurance. Those things add up, especially as you get older. So having a handle on what that insurance is going to cost you each month is what's going to help you determine your number. Next, we have utilities, things like your electricity, your water bill if you're not living on a well. You have your phone bill. If you're retiring, you need to make sure that your phone works. You need to make sure that you have coverage wherever it is that you're going to travel. That's one thing that I urge my retirees not to skimp on. Do not skimp on a good cell phone plan. Next, we have groceries. It could easily cost $600, $700, $800 a month, depending on how you eat, to feed you and a spouse. So budget that in as well. And then we also have to take into account taxes. Now, depending on where your money is saved, you may be able to work a very tax-efficient withdrawal strategy from 55 until the day you pass away. But if all of your money is parked in a 401k plan and you're using the rule of 55, then you have to budget for the associated tax bill. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, point number 2, you have to have fun money. I want my retirees to have at least $500 a month per person to enjoy. I do not want you to retire and then just sit around the house. There's no point in just withering away. Do not waste away your retirement. Make sure that you have money for you to go out and enjoy the things that you enjoy doing. Once we have laid out all of those monthly expenses, we're going to total them. We're going to add them all up. That way we know exactly how much money we need every month to live the life that we want to live. We're going to take that figure and multiply it by 12. What this does is it gives us an annual income need. Once we have that figure, we're going to multiply it by 25. This is the 25x rule. You take your annual income need, you multiply it by 25, and voila, you have a target number for you to retire at 55. Now, for some people, this number is still going to need to be a little bit higher because maybe they plan to live for an extended period of time. For other people, it might be lower. Maybe you only plan on living 20 years, so maybe you don't need 25 times your annual income need. But in general, using the 25x rule gives you a target to work towards. Now, the big question is how much money do you need to create a certain level of income? Well, if you plan on needing $40,000 a year to live, you need $1 million. 40,000 times 25 is $1 million. You can use the 4% rule, withdraw that 40,000, adjust for inflation, and you're good, ideally for 30 years or more. Now, if you need $80,000, you need $2 million saved. Again, 80 times 25 is 2 million. You use the 4% rule, you can pull that income for hopefully 30 years. And then if we bump up to needing $120,000 a year, you need $3 million saved. And these numbers keep going up. You may need $4 million saved for 160. You may need $5 million saved if you need $200,000 a year. But whatever your annual income need is, we're going to multiply it by 25, and there's your target figure. Now, what you need to keep in mind is that we are assuming you need your investments to produce all of this income. For some of you, that may not be the case. For some of you, and for most of the clients that I worked with, you're entitled to a pension of some sort. It could be military, it could be federal government, it could be state government, but you may be entitled to a monthly income amount. Well, if we factor that in to your retirement number, things start to look a lot different. If you need $40,000 a year to live on, but you're going to receive $20,000 from a pension or rental properties, you could have rental properties as well. But if you're going to receive $20,000 of that from somewhere else, that changes the amount of money you need to have saved. All of a sudden, you only need $20,000 of income from those investments, so you only need $500,000 saved. If you need $80,000 a year and you're getting that $20,000 from the pension, you need $1.5 million set aside. And then if you're at the 120 level, but you have the 20 coming in from a pension, you only need 100. So now your number is $2.5 million. So before you scare yourself out of trying to retire at 55, you have to keep in mind those other income sources if you're entitled to them, because the number may not be that bad. The one thing that we have to keep in mind about the 25X rule that we've been using so far is that it gives you a general target. It's not going to get you down to the penny. There's actually no way for you to get down to the exact penny that you need to have saved, but it gives you something to craft a savings plan around. With the 25X rule, we are relying on the 4% rule for your retirement to work. And basically what the 4% rule is that starting year one of your retirement, you could take 4% of your portfolio out as income. Next year, you increase it by inflation, which for most people, we're going to target around 3%. As long as you make 7% with your invested assets, then you're going to break even. You're going to take the income that you need. You're going to be able to adjust it for inflation. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. But the problem with the 4% rule is it's typically meant for a 30-year retirement. Well, not all of you are going to be retired for just 30 years. Some of you have longevity in your family. You may have parents or grandparents that have lived well into their 90s. Well, if you decide to retire at 55, we're now planning for a 40-year retirement. If you retire at 65, the chances of you living to 95 are pretty slim, so covering that 30-year time frame is relatively safe if you're using the 4% rule. But if you do plan on living into your 90s, then 4% may be a little too much. You might want to dial that back a bit. The problem with dialing back that 4% figure is you're going to increase the amount of money you need to have saved. So I have a bunch of estimators built in Excel that I give to clients. That way they can start creating targets of their own. In this one specifically, this is our financial independence estimator. So it's going to give us the figure we need if we wanted to retire. So saying we want $40,000 of income when we retire, and we're doing that on a 4% withdrawal rate or using that 25X rule, we need $1 million saved. Now, this is great if you plan on passing away before you make it to 85. As long as you pass away before 85, we have an over 90% chance of your invested assets getting you to that finish line. But what if you plan on living beyond 85? Maybe 4% is a little bit too risky. Maybe you need to make that more conservative. Well, if we do that and say we drop it to 3.5%, then you need $1.14 million. So an additional 14% saved for your retirement to last and last confidently. Saving that extra $140,000 isn't easy. Getting to the first million isn't easy. So adding another 14% on top of it is going to be that much more difficult. So when it comes to figuring out what your safe withdrawal rate needs to be, you need to take into account what your family history looks like. For most of you, because the average life expectancy is 80 years old, using the 4% rule isn't going to be a problem. But for those of you that do have a family history of longevity, you might want to consider dialing it back. The last thing that I want to do in this video is give you an idea of what those different income levels can provide when it comes to your lifestyle in retirement. If you're retiring and you're anticipating the $40,000 a year, then you're what we would consider a lean retiree. You're not going to do anything crazy with your money because you don't have a lot of extra to give, but you are at least able to cover your needs and you have that little bit of extra for you to spend however you want. Your house is probably paid off, your vehicles are probably paid off, your credit cards gone, student loan debt gone, and you don't plan on replacing any of those items anytime soon. You're most likely going to eat at home more because it is still predominantly cheaper to eat at home. You still could go out to the restaurants every now and again, but most of the time you're eating your meals at home. Your health insurance is probably going to be more of a catastrophic only policy where you're just covering to protect you from the big things. It's a good idea to only pick those policies if you're generally healthy. I wouldn't base that decision all on price. But as far as healthcare goes, you're probably using the least covered plan available to you. And then when it comes to traveling and the things that you want to do, they're probably going to stay pretty modest. You're not going to take semi-annual trips to Europe to go sightseeing. I mean, if you can, that's great. And please put a comment on this video about how you travel hack your way into affording that. But for most people, you're going to stay domestic. You're going to probably go visit national parks or any type of monuments that you may have been wanting to see your whole life. But outside of those domestic trips, you're not spending any additional money just because it's not there. Now, if you plan on bringing in about $80,000 a year, then you're probably going to have a little additional money for you to enjoy. You're probably going to keep the house that you have. You may not be as inclined to upgrade it just because the cost of a new house is quite expensive. But if you've paid that off, you paid your vehicles off, then you have extra money to spend. You're probably going to cook at home, but also go out to the restaurants, meet up with your friends, continue to socialize. You're going to have money to afford that. You're probably going to be able to afford a little bit better healthcare plan, which that's always good. And then you might be able to sprinkle in a little bit of international travel when it comes to your vacations. But with $80,000, depending on where you live, you've opened yourself up to enjoying life a little bit more. You have a little bit more disposable income that you can upgrade some things. Now, if you're planning to retire with over $100,000 a year of income, whether it's from your investments, from your pension, or a combination of the two, then you're what we would like to call the luxury retiree. You could upgrade your house if you want to, or you could purchase a vacation home. Maybe you love going to the beach. Well, you could probably squeeze a beach house into your budget as long as everything else is taken care of. You could eat out a lot more. You could go try all of the restaurants that maybe you didn't bother to before because you didn't want to waste the money. You wanted to save it to retire. Your healthcare is probably going to be more top of the line than if you only had $40,000 a year to work with. You could get that gold level plan and it cover you for more things and it keeps your out-of-pocket expenses much lower. And then when it comes to traveling or whatever those hobbies are that you can't wait to get into, you have money to do those things. You could take maybe an annual trip to Europe if you wanted to. You might be able to fly first class every now and again, but you have that disposable income to really live a luxurious lifestyle. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is that these income levels aren't set. $40,000 in New York City isn't going to cut it. But if you live somewhere that's much cheaper, maybe in Mississippi or Alabama, $40,000 a year may stretch much further than just eating at home all the time. You might be able to go out to the restaurants more. $120,000 a year in New York City may not cut it. It may barely keep the lights on. So this is what we mean by your number being situation specific. All of the things that go into figuring out what your retirement number is going to be is all based on you and the lifestyle that you're going to live. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If this video or any of the other videos that I put out has provided you value, then hit that subscribe button. If you're liking this Retire at 55 series, then stay tuned. I have many more videos coming. Next week, we're going to talk about health insurance. And I know it's not as flashy as maybe how much money you need to have saved, but it's just as important when it comes to building this early retirement plan. So if you're liking this Retire at 55 series, please stay tuned. Like I said, I have many more coming. But I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.